Welcome to Dacia's Digest. Today we will be diving into the topic of entitled parents. We have two stories today. The first one is shorter, but the second one is a whole saga. So strap in, let's get into it. Am I the a-hole for being upset that my dad wants a finder's fee for finding me work? I am a 24 female and I have had horrible luck with randomly getting health issues a few months into every job I get. Being in and out of the hospital, and no matter how many doctor's notes I provide, they let me go because of how many call-outs I have. Let me emphasize, I hate this and love working, and it is good for my mental health. I have pushed through working days where I should have been at the doctor's or urgent care because of my issues and symptoms. My dad thinks I'm lazy and that I should crawl around at work if I have to, instead of resting my body when the doctor recommends it. I am a 4.0 student working on my master's degree in creative writing, and I have been looking for writing work from home because it is much more manageable for my health to have remote work. Unfortunately, I have had no luck due to having minimal published writing experience. My dad owns his own business and makes $400,000 a year combined with his wife. Meanwhile, I struggle to afford rent or to eat. He got me in touch with a lady who is a part of a company that needs a writer or editor. I told him I had a Zoom meeting with this lady and she wanted to offer me some freelance work and then eventually hire me into a more permanent position. His response, "That's great, but you owe me 20% of your monthly income because I have helped you out in the past and I got you this opportunity. It's a finder's fee. You may write better than me, but I am faster." He has never been a writer and copy and paste his writing from ChatGPT and somehow gets published articles. Why is he making it a competition? I said, "But I'm your family." And he said, "That's how business works." I cried when we got off the phone. Am I the a-hole for thinking he's totally out of line? I'm sorry, OP. Your dad is a total a-hole for real. That's crazy. And to say, "I've helped you out in the past," for one, if it was like before she turned 18, like, duh, that's your job. Anything after that, I can kind of understand what he means. But technically, in the eyes of the law, unless there was a contractual agreement where he said, "Hey, if I help you with this, later you'll owe me this," she don't owe him nothing. Not to mention, like, you're her father. That's crazy. Definitely not the a-hole. Let's see what these comments say. Your dad is the a-hole. What a crappy parent. Go no contact with him. OP says, "Thank you. That's what my mom said, but I always feel like I'm being too sensitive." Listen to your mom, sis. Mom knows best, obviously. And someone else said, "Nope, you're allowed to be sensitive and have legitimate feelings about being taken advantage of." And OP responded, "Wow, I've never heard the words 'you're allowed to be sensitive' before, or legitimate feelings. Thank you." I wonder if the mom and the dad are still together. That would be an interesting dynamic, with the mom telling her, like, go no contact, but they must not still be together. Comment below what you guys think of that story. I think that's absolutely wild that the dad would ask for 20% of his daughter's monthly income. And then at what point does it stop? Do you get 20% for the rest of the time that she's at that job? Do you also get 20% for a job that she gets after that because you helped start her career? Like, at what point does it end? My entitled parents refuse to respect my wishes. I was going to post this in Baby Bumps, but as I kept writing, I realized it belonged here. I will try to keep this concise, but I am on mobile, so bear with me, please. I am a 27-year-old female, married to a 26-year-old male. We are parents to a 2-year-old female. I'm about 4 months pregnant with my second baby. I had my daughter in March of 2020, so I wasn't allowed any visitors in the hospital, and we decided to be safe and not allow any visitors for a couple of months after coming home. My parents hated this rule we set, mainly my dad. My dad drove my mom and brother crazy those entire 2 months. They would beg us to let them visit because of how my dad would take his frustration out on not seeing my baby on them. We, of course, did eventually lift our ban on visitors when May was almost over, which was a whole other can of worms. Now we are pregnant with our second and have moved to a new state, about 16 hours away. I have loved not having visitors during the first 2 months with my first and intend on doing the same with this one, especially since I will be adjusting to a new way of life. While on a video call with my brother, my mom loudly suggested he visit me in February. They were visiting my grandma, and I felt brave enough to shout, "No, I don't want any visitors that month. I will either be huge and tired or have just given birth." My mom argued and said I will be adjusting to having a toddler to take care of while caring for my baby, so therefore I will need help. My grandma heard this and said, "She'll manage. I had to. Remember, I had 4, all 2 years or less apart, and I did just fine." I love grandma. Well, a few days later, after the video call, I was talking to my parents on the phone, and my dad said, "When we are there in February, don't worry, we will stay in a hotel. We will be there to help. You don't have to host." Excuse me? What? I said, I don't want any visitors that month. My dad said, "We will be there to help, even if it means taking S, my daughter, for a day so you can rest." I said, "But I already told brother and mom that I don't want any visitors." My dad said, "We missed so much when S was first born. We don't want to miss any of those precious first moments with this one." Ugh. Reddit, any suggestions? My husband said we should just not open the door at all when they get here. If they want to waste gas and vacation time, then that's their choice. Ciao. She clearly already said she doesn't want any visitors the first 2 months. And you just are going to disregard that completely and just insert yourself. You don't have the right. That is not your child. That is your grandchild. So her mom is the one who gets to make the decision. Like, what the heck? What you think this is? I'm petty. I would like book an Airbnb or something in like another part of town, or like maybe even in another state for those 2 months and stay there. And like when they come, I just won't be there. So you have no option to come to my house or try to break in or like try to bother me, because I just will not physically be there. But I mean, that's kind of unfair to OP, because then it's like she has to spend money to be away and get an Airbnb. Like you would hope that people would just respect her wishes and not come. Let me just read a couple of comments before we go to the update, because this thing has like 5 updates, so it's gonna be a long one. Top comment says you send a text or an email to your parents and include your grandmother, any other siblings, and any other close relatives who think they just have the right to show up whenever the heck they want. It should read something like this: "We appreciate that all of you love us very much and are excited as we are to welcome our new little bundle of joy. That being said, we are not entertaining visitors of any sort for the following blank, insert weeks, months, hell, years if you need to. This includes anyone currently planning to visit our area and arrange their own accommodations. This is not open for debate, and we will not discuss this. We need this time to bond as a family and get used to our new routine. Love, blank. The new parents, aka the only freaking people whose opinions matter." Let's go to the first update. Update: my entitled parents refuse to respect my wishes. Hope this works. I'm still on mobile. I spoke to my husband about the post and even gushed about all the commenters who love him. He blushed and feels flattered. I also told him about some of the suggestions that were made, and he says they feel rather excessive. He's the type that rather not go to the extreme, especially since some of his siblings are doing that to his dad after his parents divorced, going so far as to return to sender anything he sends to their kids. Christmas and birthday gifts. What happened was between him and mother-in-law, and the grandkids shouldn't suffer because of it, but that was the parents' choice, so we respect it. He agrees with putting our request in writing so we have physical proof. He doesn't want me sending a mass letter out to people because everyone already knows we don't want visitors, and so far my parents are the only ones who disagree with it and plan to visit anyway. I'm going to send a long text message to both my parents and brother. I will be clear and concise, and then screenshot it in case they somehow figure out how to delete messages. They are pretty inept with technology, worse than me. I will tell them if they still refuse to respect our wishes, they will be met with locked doors and windows. They will have traveled out for nothing. They will have been warned. I expect my phone to blow up with phone calls and texts. If they start anything, I will post a picture of my message to Facebook. As I have been clear as crystal on Facebook that I do not want any visitors when this baby is born. One of my cousins agreed wholeheartedly with me. Not that you needed anyone to agree with you, but that's nice. I will update how it goes. Thank you everyone for your support and suggestions. Baby is kicking a lot today as well, so I guess they sense what is going on. Update, this is what I have composed and am about to press send. Pray for my phone. It is about 4 years old, which is pretty old for technology. Hey guys, in regards to February, if you all are still planning to visit, I request that you cancel those plans or postpone them until April. We want to have time to rest, recover, and bond as a new family of 4. It is our time with our baby. Please respect our wishes. That sounds good. I don't know what the other suggestions were, the other comments. I'm assuming they were like, don't accept any gifts. Don't let them do anything. People on Reddit, they go to the extreme when things like this happen. She sent the message. Let's see how it went. This is a new update. I finally got a reply to the group text I had sent to my parents and brother. I had even sent another text saying, to be clear, we will not be having visitors in March either. The response came from my mom, which I predicted because more than likely my dad is giving me the silent treatment and my mom is the mediator of the family. Her reply was this: just wondering, if this goes for the in-laws as well that live in my state, are you going to keep grandma, mother-in-law, and the aunts and uncles from there away for a month and a half? I kind of understand what you're saying, but I have a feeling that they will be around after the new baby is born. And OP's reply, everyone knows our wishes and everyone understands. And she replied, okay, ... Oh yeah, I have a strong suspicion this is far from over. I know what my mom was trying to do. Update. So I decided to call my parents' house phone to see who I would get. My grandma had a bad fall last week, not long after I had sent the message. So my mom had been messaging me and calling me with updates on her. So I called to see how everyone is doing in regards to grandma. She is home and well taken care of. My brother answered the phone and was the only one home. As I suspected, my dad is giving me the silent treatment and believes that just because I don't want them here when I give birth, that means I don't want them in my life at all. How dramatic. I like being in contact with them, but I am doing my best to set boundaries. My brother believes my message was too harsh and I should have been more nice. I said I was polite and civil as I could have been. In fact, some people I showed it to beforehand thought I was too soft. So if this is harsh, and I could have been more harsh, then that means I got the message across just fine. How you received it is on you, not me. Girl, period. You better stand on business. I love it. He didn't like the answer and changed the subject. He tried reminiscing about our childhood, which I have mostly blocked out since moving away. He tried to make our dad out to be this wonderful father, which, yeah, he was a decent dad when we were little. All he seems to ever talk about in regards to the good old days with dad are the years I least remember because of how little I was at the time. Well, as updates go, there might be more later on, but I am not sure. My parents are arguing, mostly because of how angry and disappointed he is with me, and my mom actually understanding, but is bad at standing up to him when she actually agrees with me. She was asking for my dad in her reply to my text. Thank you for your patience and your awesome comments. My brother is doing his best to stay out of the drama due to stress-induced heart problems. We all know where his stress is from. I'm just going to read a couple of comments because we have 4 More updates, and I don't want this video to be extra long. Someone quoted her post, "Everyone knows our wishes and everyone understands." Perfect response, nothing to argue with there. Someone else said, "Love her first statement isn't about how you are feeling, if there's anything you need, but rather a fairness issue that if they can't come, no one can." OP said, "I know, right? But I know she's asking for my dad. He is super jealous of my in-laws. He's been jealous of them ever since Hubs and I started dating, and it increased since marriage and baby. He doesn't like how much I love spending time with him. Could it be because they aren't manipulative people with explosive tempers who love, support, and understand my husband and my boundaries?" I see what's going on here. Ironically, the dad, his actions are trying to get closer, but pushing him further. To that comment, someone else said, quoting the post, "Just wondering, I have a feeling they will be." And they said, "Yeah, they are just trying to make themselves out to be a victim. You should have included in your response, you have no reason to feel such a way. They were given the same rules as you all have been and are respecting them. She, and I guess as your dad's proxy, will try and make it out as though you only kept your in-laws away because she caught you. Have a response ready for when she tries that." And OP said, "When I read her reply to my husband, he's like, why do they always have to make it an us versus them thing? We just don't want to host people from out of state when we are adjusting to a new baby. How is this so hard for them to understand? So what if my family gets to come over sometime during those 2 months? They're close by. They can go home after a couple of hours. They won't pull the, we came all this way to see you." I love him. Oh, okay, so I was assuming that people wouldn't be able to come at all, but it sounds like they might let the in-laws who are in that state come visit just because it'll be like a couple hours here, a couple hours there. So I can kind of understand the father on OP's side because he doesn't get to have the same experiences that the in-laws in state will have. So I kind of understand from his point of view now. Because if he's saying they'll be in a hotel and they won't have to be hosting them, then why can't they just come for like a couple hours here, a couple hours there if the in-laws who are in the state gonna be able to do that too? Like, they just want it to be fair. Now, on the other hand, I'm sure there's probably much more family history and things going on with OP and her father that make this issue a little bit more convoluted, but at the core of things, I can understand from the father's point of view. All right, next update on my entitled parents. My mom and brother live in terror of my dad. Well, hello again. The fallout of my message to my parents and brother is a bit more dramatic than I would like, but how I expected it. I did a small update in my previous post yesterday. Today, I decided to call my mom. My brother had informed me yesterday she was stressing about planning a farewell party for a friend, and I thought I could help her think of easy ways of pulling this off, knowing she hates party planning and never knows how to do it, so she works herself up about it. I am not much of a party planner either, but I know how to host despite being introverted. I just like making people happy and have a good time. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. I called my mom and well, we never got around to discussing the farewell bash for her friend. She was too busy frantically flea bombing her house with borax and wanting to get it all done before my dad got home. According to her and my brother, my dad thinks the flea problem they have been having was a non-issue, and the mere fact that they wanted to do something about it made him angry. So if he heard that they had done something about it, or if he came home while they were still doing said thing, he would go into a rage. Dad sounds absolutely problematic. Hearing this did not surprise me. I was actually surprised at the lack of astonishment I felt. Also, they rushed me off the phone, trying to make it sound like they were just in a hurry to vacuum up the borax and make it look like nothing ever happened. I know it was more than that, as my dad is angry with me and is giving me the silent treatment. The man can hold a grudge, and the sheer fact that we would be communicating would indeed make him angry. They need to get out of there. What is going on in that house? As I stated in my last update, the man thinks that us not wanting them here in February means we don't want them in our lives at all. We do. if they respect our wishes and boundaries. We live far enough away that it should be simple for them. It should have been simple when we lived closer to them, but whatever. I knew by the panic in their voice, my dad must have let them know he was on his way home. The call ended rather abruptly. Not much of an update, but it just confirms to me even more that my dad is definitely the more problematic one. Not that I needed that much of a confirmation to begin with. Bruh. What is going on in that? The fact that them trying to do something good for the home and get rid of fleas and just do a little flea treatment, and now they're trying to rush and do it while dad is not home because he didn't want it done and they know that he's gonna get mad. He sounds absolutely problematic. Okay, let me just jump to the next update. Just thought I'd update. Some stuff has happened since my last post. My parents are still trying to make me feel guilty for not wanting visitors, but so far haven't made any insinuations that they are going to break the boundary. They have been sending us gifts, mainly for our daughter, which is nice. They think we need government aid because I let slip that money is tight at the moment and we're on a strict budget. We see the end of this period coming soon though, but right now we have to be more creative and pay more attention to where our money goes. I have explained this to them, but no, they think we are about to be homeless or something. Just because we can't afford to buy steaks or pot roast or have meat with every meal. Good heavens. Dang, you can't have meat with every meal? It does sound a little tight. I mean, I kind of understand their concern. I have repeatedly told them this is temporary. My dad said, "This seems to happen often." Oh, goodness. I told him that it's a part of life, and a lot of the times it's our own fault. He threatened to sign up for us. We don't want that. We are fine. And I can see them holding it over us because their gifts are always conditional. We found out we're having a baby boy, so now we will have one of each. I have decided to wait a bit longer after this baby to have another one. We don't want a lot of kids, but we do want more than 2. My parents are thrilled. My mom most of all. She wasn't even close to this ecstatic when we learned our daughter would be a girl. She wouldn't even believe the ultrasound and kept trying to convince me to doubt it. Of course, she denies all of this. It's quite unsettling to see how enthusiastic my family is about us having a boy when it wasn't as close for a girl. They love our granddaughter, but still, it's hard to see. My grandma warned me over the phone when I called her to tell her the news, which she had already heard from my parents. She would not be surprised if my mom made her way out here in February all by herself just to see her new grandson. Sad thing is, I wouldn't be surprised either. I will try to update if there are more developments, and of course, I will update in February when our boy makes his arrival. Thank you all for comments and following this series. All right, we have some more information. Congrats on your beautiful baby boy, OP. We have 2 more updates, so before I get into those, comment below what you're thinking about this story, and if you are enjoying this video, please consider liking and maybe even subscribing. Hello everyone, I just thought I'd give a new update on my entitled parents who wouldn't respect my boundaries. Well, I am now 8 months pregnant. Hard to believe, it feels like only yesterday I was finding out I was pregnant during one of the most stressful times of my life. For example, moving halfway across the country. Yep, found out the very same month I was moving. It's a miracle we have made it this far without any major complications. Pregnancy is going well, both baby boy and I are healthy. We had a bout of placenta previa, but that has thankfully resolved itself. Now for my parents. They have been sending us Aldi gift cards to help us with our grocery. For people who may not know, Aldi is a grocery store. Since I refused to ask for government assistance, my conservative parents still insisting on that. Oh, the irony. But hey, who am I to turn down a gift card to have part of my groceries paid for me, especially at this time of year? They seem to have relaxed about the whole visiting thing and told me they definitely plan to visit in April. Funny though, my dad made it sound like a threat when he confirmed that they would be here in April. Like, okay. My mom keeps trying to compare my pregnancy to her pregnancy with me. She had gallbladder problems. I do not have any issues with my gallbladder. We are not the same. My parents are also offended on my behalf that my husband is offering to help me get back into shape after I recover from giving birth, something I actually want to do. He knows I want to exercise so I can get fit and keep up with our soon-to-be 2 young children under the age of 4. I know babies aren't active until they are at least 6 months old at the earliest, but I do have a toddler as well. Plus, he intends to stay with the kids while I go to the gym. This was something we mutually discussed and agreed upon. Yet all my parents, mainly my mom, heard was that my husband thinks I will get fat right after giving birth and find me unattractive. Cue aggressive eye rolling here. So now that my parents know the baby will be a boy, they have been pestering me about names. Hubs and I found a name we like, but we are not ready to reveal it yet. My dad keeps trying to convince me to name my son after him. Oh, brother. I don't like my dad's name, and also having someone named after you should be an honor and a privilege, right? He just won't get it. He also seems to hate that my husband is picky about names and doesn't just want to go with any name I had suggested. Like my husband shouldn't get veto power since I am the one carrying the baby. He should love the name because it will be his baby's name. Yes, but he should get the chance to agree on the name and like the name before it's his kid's name. So fun. My family is so entertaining from far away. If I do not update again before February, I will post when little guy gets here. Happy holidays, everyone. End of saga update. Greetings all, it has been a while. I keep forgetting to post an update to my saga, and I have been busy adjusting to life with a newborn and toddler. A little update on my situation. I went into labor 2 weeks early with my son. He is now a healthy, happy, smiley 3-month-old. Aww. The labor went well with no complications, and I am so happy it was 2 weeks early. I am a petite woman and believe if I gave birth any later than I did, my boy would probably be close to 10 pounds. He is currently fitting in 6 to 9 month clothes. Sheesh. My parents kept their promise and visited the first week of April. They didn't force their help on me, and we had a fairly decent time with them. My dad didn't even jump to volunteer to change diapers. I think the fact that I now use cloth diapers instead of disposable deterred him a little. They plan to visit again in August. Thank you all who followed my saga. All right, well, that concludes our stories for today. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Dacia's Digest, and I'll see you guys in the next video.